Shwmae, Cymrahaw, and Slôn Liat. Okay, hello Year 2. You might have seen where I'm stood on the playground right next to our maps. Now that's important for today's lesson. We are out here to do some geography, and I'm just going to show you the map once more. We have not got our continents map today. Instead, we are using our map of the United Kingdom. So, I started off by saying Shwmae. Now some of you might know what that means. Now, I'm going to stand in this country just here on the red section of our playground. And that is the country of Wales. And Shwmae is how we say hello in Welsh. Now if I go into England and all the way north up into this blue section of our map, you'll see I'm stood on Scotland. And in Scotland, I might speak Gaelic Scottish. And I could say Cymrahaw, which means how are you? Cymrahaw. You might want to try and say it back to me. Cymrahaw. Okay, now from Scotland, I am going to go across the channel and into the green section of our map here. Now there's two green sections. One is called Northern Ireland, and the other one, you can see it just says Ireland. Now Ireland on its own, Southern Ireland, is actually not part of the United Kingdom, but Northern Ireland is. So that's where I'm going to stand next. And I'm going to say Slôn Liat, which means goodbye. So, we all know English already. We could say hello, how are you, and goodbye if I am stood in my largest section of the United Kingdom in England. But if I move to the west, I go into Wales. And if I say Shwmae, hello, in Welsh. And then I'm going to ask how are you in Scotland. Cymrahaw. And then I'm going to nip across the water into Northern Ireland and I'm going to say Slôn Liat, which means goodbye. So there's our introduction to the United Kingdom. Now we've set you some challenges today. The first challenge is to try and build the United Kingdom. So there's a blank map with just the outlines, and there's a coloured map. So you might like to cut out your coloured sections, and you might like to stick them onto the blank map. But we just need a bit more than that. Just knowing the countries isn't quite enough for us. The countries, as you can see, there's only 4 countries you need to learn. But we would also like you to know their capital cities. Now I'm sure if you go into England, you probably know our capital city. It is indeed London. London. As I move north through England and all the way up into Scotland, I'm going to stand quite close to the border. See where my foot is? Fairly close to the border. And this is the capital city of Scotland, which is called Edinburgh. You may indeed have come across that. Some of you may have been there, I'm not sure. Now if I jump across the water into Northern Ireland, there is a city quite close to the edge of Ireland. Where's my foot to help me? And the capital city of Northern Ireland is Belfast. You might have heard of that as well. So that just leaves Wales for us. Well, if you're into rugby, or your dad or your mum are into rugby, they will probably know lots about the Welsh capital, because that's where lots of famous Welsh rugby gets played. And again, I'm going to use my foot to help me. Down in southern Wales, we have the city of Cardiff, which is the capital city of that country. So, 4 countries and 4 capital cities to learn today. What we'd like you to do is build the UK map yourself. I'd love you to label those places on the UK map, but also I'd like you to be creative. I did my research before filming this video and I have learnt a bit of language. As you know, if you've been in classroom with me, I love my language, and I've learned how to say hello and goodbye and how are you in 3 different languages. Maybe you could learn some language. If you type in on YouTube, there's lots of videos that come up. Maybe you could find the map for each of these countries and draw the map next to that part of the UK. There are indeed lots of the different maps. Every part has its own one. England, Scotland, Northern Ireland. If you put them together, something really nice happens as well. So maybe a map, maybe learn some language, maybe an interesting fact about somewhere. And we need all of those capital cities and country names labelled. Okay? Have fun, everybody, and I'd love to see what you produce today. Goodbye! Or should I say, slán leat.